This responds to the Crucible and the Manosphere about the responsibility of women who consider themselves to be conservative or Christian, who also have Instagram models or my face. My fans only. It's a good thing I don't know. I mean, I'm not perverted, but I'm nasty. So it's kind of strange that I wouldn't know about my fans' accounts enabling pandering. Okay, it's pandering. Because it's a tech boom. The tech boom has the ability to, since everybody uses it, if you want to be like the tech sphere, you can argue the same sense that you're not stimulating something in a bikini. Wearing a bikini, you don't have to be responsible. See, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with wearing a bikini if you know that it's stimulating. You don't have to take responsibility if you're not presenting yourself as a Christian. Because they don't do that. I don't see why you have to. If I was to tell you to discourage you from wearing a bikini, I would be fucking myself. But if you're looking for a husband, okay. So if you're looking for a husband, right? Okay, here's the thing. If I'm attracted to women who are stimulating everybody, a diva, you know that the society needs or has a reliance on a certain number of diva. But everybody doesn't have the right to seduce. So this is very confounding, and I guess feminists can't understand this sort of stuff. But I don't want to get onto the manosphere shit, because there is a such thing as the sacred prostitute, but the way that they're bringing it, presenting it to you, is not. It's just like the same thing with whether you're a Christian or you're not. You don't have to be. You don't have to be. I will tell you this, though, is that the sacred prostitute goes to, in a diva-shantic like kind of society, because this is back when it was more Hindu. Later on, they became more Buddhism, and then later on, they wanted to be transhumanist, right? But those people that want to bring about Jacobinism in a period of time when you could be prepping, you don't have to be plotting about stealing somebody's resources when it's a crisis. It's still a good time. So it doesn't make sense for a normal person why the sponsoring of Bolshevik and Jacobinism. We don't need the fear factor. We don't need to see crowds of people pulling the guillotine down the street and cheering and whatever, beating drums or whatever, letting the leadership and everybody know that we have this waiting for you if you think that you're it's like you might have a reason to get where you got to get, but not off me, right? So I don't have a problem with the Bolsheviks or the Jacobins. I have a problem with it's not time for that right now. We're not doing that right now. So the corporate elite interest that is sponsored and loves the ideas right? That's Luciferian. Before that, a Luciferian was just basic knowledge. It was just illumination. Lucifer means to elucidate. So what does it mean now? What does prepping mean now? We don't feel embarrassed about we don't announce it, but we don't feel embarrassed about leading on to the fact that I'm trying to put together my emergency bug out bag. Good for you, dude. Do that shit. You don't have to be embarrassed. And if you don't have loyalty, what do you have? So when somebody puts a certain amount of value or quality on loyalty, it's like, oh, you can't ask for that. You have ulterior motives. You're demanding or asking or requiring loyalty. You're supposed to not have nothing if you don't have that. Why wouldn't you not ask for that? You got to be on some basis, fundamentally, with a concept to let you know that, oh no, we're not supposed to be interested in that right now because, you know what I'm saying, I might get in trouble. I'm waiting for facts to come out to let me know for personal responsibility how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. But no, not really. I'm not really waiting for any new information or discovery. I'm waiting for approvals to let me know, because it's a mandate. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do wellness checks on all your employees. You thought I was just talking about nothing. Oh, I wasn't just talking about nothing just now. Now you know I'm talking about something because they did make us do wellness checks, and you had to aim a thermometer-shaped fucking gun at somebody's head, and you knew it was vaporware the whole time. The fact that it could read your temperature and actually works, and you could see the temperature readout, and it tells you that you're not above the fucking flu levels, doesn't mean it's not vaporware, because they have a fucking cheap version and an expensive version of this thermometer gun. Okay, and one in the restaurant, they pointed at my wrist and said, okay, this is, you know, because it's bulky, you know what I mean? This is, they sport no expense so that they didn't subject you to the humiliation of going to work every day, like fucking simulating that, oh, I'm well, because you can point a gun in my head, I'm well. That's like civil asset forfeiture. You are being civil because you forfeit your assets. I just have to assume that that's what it means. Vaporware. Because the cheap version of the thermometer gun that I was at work that they can aim at your head because it can't get a good reading on your wrist, took the reading off my fucking wrist accurately. If you're gonna point that shit at my head, point at my wrist, but not just point at my wrist, compare the data. Because you're gonna say that I'm suggesting that there means something sinister about this, that by doing this, it means soothe my fucking my sensibilities, and you don't offend my non-technical, non-science-based, non-based, and you know what I mean? I don't have no apologetics, working apologetics. I'm not hermeneutically grounded in moral dogma of whatever church, and I'm not I have no epistemology for my worldview or nothing. Just all that can be made out of somebody if it's not a point that they're pointing the gun at to write down that you had this reaction or this response. But did you ever notice that the type of information that's being collected is not the type of information that can stop a crime? It's everything else. Everything else that is not to stop or prevent something is being fucking recorded and collected. But that shit that stops crimes is mysteriously not able, you know, it's like almost like a man is a career. And no matter what, we'll always reconsign ourselves back to a career, to the point that none of us can do anything to help a crisis when you know you can milk. So I think I just spun myself out of ability to keep the same wavelength. The stream of consciousness destroys all wavelengths. This whole, like, for me to continue, because I had more to say, but the video ended before I could get more to say, because the you want to have a conveyance. So maybe there already is a conveyance working, and so I should allow it. And it's less high maintenance than if I threw out a perfectly good conveyance, then I would have to go through a bunch of rituals, not all made up myself. Maybe some rituals I had to source from outside. Yeah, Scribd. I had to get an account on Scribd so I can look up some, if I want to be, I'll just do some spellcraft. I'll work up something. I'll just come up with some, because I might have to write somebody's name on a piece of paper and fold it away from me or something, then put boiling water or burn a black candle and flush it down a toilet. But I didn't come up with those rituals. I didn't come up with those. Let's go ahead and try them. But you might want to have an open mind to the rituals that you might come up with on your own, because those are more powerful. Those are quantum. If you want to make an impression on your psyche, which is what magic's supposed to work on, it's supposed to be. Voodoo doesn't. You can't make somebody sick unless they think that they got cursed at the voodoo to make them sick. What if you're just some fucking imbecile? I'm not gonna get sick. Somebody, what if you can't design a new symbol? Then you're not really even a smart enough voodoo practitioner. You can be a voodoo practitioner because you're not an old Preto Velo from that brought Yoruba over from the Congo. Because even, see, what happens is we go into masquerade trying to become a part of a system of mystery. And we try to take up roles in a masquerade. But I'm the same person who made a video telling you that I believe that the Orisha came from not United States, before it was the United States, whatever, the Americas. So it's like a Taoism until it gets deteriorated and we think of it in terms of magical thinking. Then we try to use another mystery system that's not ours. So we can't use the Orishas in America. We have to use the Orinda, which is basically like it's showed to you. Go watch Back to the Future. In the movie Back to the Future, he had an image picture. Now this is called Providence. When you have a system of mystery that is actually because nothing you do isn't anything that somebody hasn't done before. You know what I mean? It's just like what works and is specific, and people find out what works here and what works there, and everywhere. That's how culture can, So it's like the Tao actually works because it's not magical system. It's not a magical system. Just like, doesn't magical thinking already make you mad? So they came up with the Tao because the magical system, if it works, it accomplishes what you need it to, but it takes something away from you that you didn't know that you appreciate, that you really favor, and you really need that. It helps you to appreciate that. But at the same time, it'll remove that and you don't have it anymore. So they came up with the Tao. And because the Tao actually works, we call it a magical system. See how convoluted that is? Or is it? Is it even convoluted? Because maybe you're supposed to know that we are demystifying occult metaphysical information and that you're supposed to occult it and remystify it because it's there to be used for you to support and promote your culture, while it can also be used to destroy your culture from a what's it called, syncretization. Is this video not over yet? I don't even know how I'm still talking. I have to watch my own videos to see how I tie it together. I feel like there's one more level. It's gonna have to be a next video or another video. I mean, there's nothing but reason why it wouldn't end and why you would go to the third part of the video. But I can't imagine how you're going to accomplish that. Some of the information for reasons specific to your own inventory is not ready now. I can't even lie unless I tell you the truth when you're not ready to receive it, and it has to be a untimely truth. So it's when to slip it in there, and an omission, because I can't lie to you unless I give you a piece of the truth. So that's the occult meaning behind the truth will set you free. It's not that the truth will really set you free. It's an occult saying, but fake it to make it does not mean that you have to be fake to make it. It's an occult saying again. This shit is so... Wait, not so. You can't say so paradoxical, because paradoxical is paradoxical. How much more paradoxical does paradoxical need? It's right down the middle. It's like two sides to a coin. It just means duality. So duality is already, then you can't enhance me. Is this a segue, or is that the third part of the video? Am I going to be disappointed? Is this anticlimactic? Because you could end it and run away at any time. I can just turn it off. It's an Apple phone. Just doesn't mean it doesn't have a way to turn it off. It's just a byte missing to make you pay 10 times more than its actual value. That's all. Yeah, it's like, what is a Mac? Do you have any trouble with identifying a Mac? Is it just because hindsight is 2020 that you'd be like, oh, I get it. That's a Mac right there. That was a Mac move right there. It's just like nobody innocent is charged with being responsible for knowing what a hoe move is going to be. Like, you're not, don't worry about it. You just, this other fucking guy is being a hoe, and we're gonna get on him and ragtag his ass and shit, even though you may not understand why, and you think you still like this guy. And if you think that by not liking somebody is the end of it, it's not. Because if I say I don't like you, then you can come back with like, well, like, I don't like you. Maybe I don't like, it's a maybe. It's like a maybe. You can't, you wouldn't even be able to allow me to suggest that you didn't like me. What? What's the interest in that? If I'm a goon? Dang. That's what's really rare. But even though I used to, or once was a goon, and just became diametrically opposed and to it and hate everything it represents, it doesn't mean that there's like not one majestic, like magnificent bitch that could bring it all me back to immaturity, and I'll start being what's it called, where you can say that I'm exhibit, like you're not exhibitionist, you know what I mean? It's not even that desperate or anything like that. You need to contribute something to a platform position because you didn't understand if that's what it's allowable for you to have. Everybody should have a platform position if you're focused. And so if you have all of these things together, what's to blame her if she likes that? What's to blame her if she sees that in someone else too? Because if you praise them enough for being able to bring the team together, then you can't be mad if she leaves you for the leader of the team, because you're too busy trying to equate women with being human. They don't need you to put them on a pedestal and dote on them and, play up their role in being a fucking human, because women are not. They're what's it called? They're in it's the bafflement of the feminine. The bafflement. It's called bafflement. Bafflement. None of them can understand what another goddess means. You might not even understand how dope they are, and that might be why they like you. They can't. They're confounded by a man who doesn't understand how dope they are, and they're also fascinated by how quickly they can get you to nut. To get you to, they might not want to fuck you for a fucking 3 hour all night long. They might want to take you down a peg if you think you're a stud, and make you come in a fucking flash of a pan.